What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Members Talk Live. And it's great to be back. We've been off for a month now. I went off and had a son. Well, my wife had the son, and I've been helping taking care of that little thing. So this is my hat for my crazy bad head hair as I rolled out of bed this morning to come on and do the show. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We've got a fun lineup of topics to talk about today. Daredevil Born Again just around the corner, and we've got first reactions that we can dive into, see what we're in for with that revival of the show. Shrek 5 gave us our first look, and it absolutely blew up the internet. So we're going to give our thoughts and opinions on the new Shrek look, as well as there's a new rumor out there with Avengers Doomsday that, like, us fans have been asking, who are the Avengers? Well, apparently Marvel's asking that same question. We're going to talk about all that and more. Joining us today on Members Talk Live, we've got from the critically acclaimed YouTube channel, Have You Seen That with T, will be joining us. Let's get started. This is Members Talk Live. I am your host, Zach Milne. What's going on, T?
Man, I'm just living life. I'm enjoying life.
Me too, man. Me too. Just living life.
Just living life.
Before we get into our topics, because I haven't had a chance to talk about this with anybody yet, but it's kind of a funny story. So my son was born on Friday, February 14th. I had tickets to go see Captain America Brave New World on February 14th. And I said to my wife, you know what? Because I am anticipating this, and I haven't been anticipating anything this whole month except for this, he's going to be born on Friday. And we're not going to see Captain America. So we switched our tickets to Thursday night. We went to a Thursday night showing at 6:30. And in the beginning of the third act, my wife went into labor. So I totally called it. I totally called it. So we saw Captain America. I went out. She was like, do your first thoughts. It's okay. I shot my first thoughts for like 30 seconds, turned off the camera, and then she just was in agony. And then we just went. And then we just went and had a crazy time. So I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about Captain America Brave New World. I saw that you posted a little in your car reaction review. So just really quickly, because it's kind of been a little bit polarizing from what I can tell on the internet, Captain America Brave New World, and I haven't been able to give my thoughts on it yet. So what did you think of Captain America Brave New World? I believe from your reaction, you actually liked it quite a bit.
I liked it. I thought it was an okay movie. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was not as bad as people made it out to be, but at the same time, I felt like there wasn't a lot of care put into the Captain America character in the movie. It was more of a Incredible Hulk film than it was more Harrison Ford film, I felt. And I felt that was a disservice to Anthony Mackie being his first Captain America. But I thought the movie was okay. There were definitely some parts where you could tell, like the end, the third act was like, let's just reshoot the whole ending of the movie and just, here we are, like that was, I think that's what really lowered the score. Because up until that point, I thought him and Harrison Ford, like Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, were amazing in the movie, but it was just bad writing. It was a lot of other things that pulled the movie down. But I thought the actors really, everyone, I thought all of the actors in the movie were pretty phenomenal, but you can't outact bad writing,
Yeah, I feel pretty similar to how you feel about it too. It's funny that before we went to go see Captain America, I asked my wife, "Have you seen The Incredible Hulk?" She said, "No, that's the only MCU movie I haven't seen because it didn't tie in anything and all that kind of stuff." So I said, "Well, I heard rumors. It could be nothing, but I heard rumors that this actually ties very much so into The Incredible Hulk. So let's watch The Incredible Hulk just in case." And I'm so glad we did that. Because like from the minute this thing opens up, like it's just like, oh, this is an Incredible Hulk sequel. This is an Incredible Hulk sequel that they wrote, and then it's like they placed Anthony Mackie's Captain America in the middle of it. Like he doesn't really drive the narrative forward. He just kind of reacts to everything going on around him.
Correct.
Which I thought was it was an odd choice for Anthony Mackie's first outing as Captain America, because you didn't really learn more about Sam Wilson. It didn't really feel like what Marvel used to do so well, especially in phases 1, 2, and 3, is the solo movies were like character studies in some ways, or at least like they did a majority of those with like Iron Man, Captain America, especially Captain America. When you look at the Captain America trilogy, even Civil War, which has all these other Avengers stuffed into it, it's focusing on the character of Steve Rogers and giving us more insight into him as a person and growing him. I didn't feel like they did that at all with Anthony Mackie's Captain America. And I agree with you. I thought Harrison Ford did a really good job as Thunderbolt Ross. It made me feel a little bit sad for William Hurt because I thought the material that he was given would have been so good and such a great completion of the character arc for William Hurt to get to dive into. But obviously they couldn't do that. So having Harrison Ford come in here, he was fantastic. But yeah, the whole movie felt like everything happened off screen 16 years ago in The Incredible Hulk and then they just kind of like assumed that you remembered everything, which because I just watched Incredible Hulk, it was pretty easy for me to pick up on some things because there's really no real introduction to the leader. He's just kind of like, if you don't remember the Incredible Hulk, good luck. This is some guy that Harrison Ford has stuffed away. Like that's about it. So for me, being like a fanatic of the MCU and just loving that cohesiveness of the universe, I was like, this is cool. Like we haven't seen these characters in a little bit. We haven't seen a follow-up to Incredible Hulk. What's been going on with these characters since then? But I was also sitting there going, but poor Anthony Mackie, like this isn't really his movie. Like they did the thing with Isaiah Bradley, which I thought was good. That was the personal journey for Sam Wilson, but that was really about it.
Yeah, I think if you didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, you would, because they did so little with Isaiah Bradley in the movie. Like as far as like setting them up, you know, like if you didn't know, you didn't know. It was just kind of like a one note. Oh, he was the original Cap, you know. And it was like it was just that one scene when they went to the gym and he explained who he was, and it was like if you didn't, like you had to have seen. Well, you didn't have to see the Falcon and Winter Soldier, but like it makes so much more. Like he's so much more impactful because of what he did in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like that's why I love the character more, because the scenes that he had in that show were just amazing. What he did in the movie wasn't enough. Like I feel like this movie could have, and there are a lot of people who love the Red Hulk and more power to you, but I think he would have worked better in the Thunderbolts. I think he would have for sure worked better in that scene. Like him corralling that group together and them driving him crazy to turn into the Red Hulk. Like I think that would have worked. That would have worked like gangbusters. But I think they did Anthony Mackie a disservice. That's the most disappointing thing to me, is because this is his first movie, and I feel like people don't want to see him again because of how poorly like you said, they didn't really drive his character anywhere. Like he was just there, and there was a lot of talk about leadership in the movie. I think that's where he grew, where he became that scene where he had with Joaquin Torres in the hospital, was powerful, but it came too late.
That
like
scene,
that was a great scene, like because I feel like I've been there. Like I feel like there are a lot of people who, I'm not a superhero, but like being a leader of men, like that's a big deal. That was a very military-esque scene where those two guys were talking to each other about, you know, him getting hurt, that trauma of not being able to do enough. And it just was too late. Like it came at the end of that was the last scene of the movie. It was like, man, we could have got this, you know. It was a missed opportunity.
I completely agree. I think going back to your point about Anthony Mackie and stuff, I think the biggest mistake that this movie did was it felt like they didn't have a fundamental understanding of the uphill battle that they had. Because I was saying for like a couple years since they had announced Captain America 4 with Anthony Mackie, I said like, you know, they got a challenge here to win the audience over, that this is no longer just a side character. This isn't just a sidekick to Steve Rogers. This is a worthy successor to Steve Rogers. Like people love Chris Evans as Captain America, as Steve Rogers, and they had the challenge of bringing the audience over to Anthony Mackie's side of, this is now your Captain America. And I don't think it's anything to Anthony Mackie's like performance or anything in the movie. It was just the writing and the placement of him in the story, where I don't feel like they successfully defeated that uphill battle. I don't think that this was a strong enough outing where it's like, now we accept Anthony Mackie as our new Captain America. They didn't give enough service to that character to do that. I think from what I've heard and from who I've talked to in my personal life, like for Captain America, because everyone's just kind of like, it was okay in one ear, out the other. So
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's going up against Winter Soldier. Like Winter Soldier is the quintessential
yeah,
Captain America movie. It's the quintessential Marvel movie. Like I said, that was the movie that changed everything with Marvel.
yeah,
In my opinion, like if Winter Soldier wasn't as great and brilliant as it was, I don't think we get that impactful end game ending. Like I really don't. I didn't. I was a okay fan of First Avenger. I feel like First Avenger in this movie are almost neck and neck because they just weren't like I wasn't wow with First Avenger. I thought it was solid.
yeah,
But, like, after Winter Soldier was like, "Whoa." Like, you learn so much about Cap. Like, there was such this black and white and gray area in Winter Soldier that, like, you learned so much about the Captain America character, and you fell in love with it. I was the biggest I hate Cap. I hated Captain America. I hated Cyclops. Those, oh, Dudley Do Right, the goody,
right. The Boy Scouts.
true yeah, the Boy Scouts, right? I love Superman, even though he's a Boy Scout, but, like, I didn't like those ultra Boy Scoutish characters, and that's what he was. But in Winter Soldier, he found the shades of gray, and he had to understand that the world isn't black and white, and they didn't give Anthony Mackie a moment like that in this movie.
Yeah,
They I felt like his character did progress. Like you saw him, like I could see after this movie him being the leader of the Avengers because he showed that he had leadership skills and a human aspect to corral a team and make sure that he put that team first after what happened to Falcon. But is everybody else going to buy it? Like I looked into the layers. Like I saw things that I don't think the general public is really looking for in that movie. So unfortunately, I mean, we're gonna talk about the Avengers, but I don't know where he
yeah.
places in
Getting there.
this whole grand scheme of things. You know?
Yeah, just didn't do enough. And like
Yeah,
in the end, I do recommend this movie. I think it's a solid recommend. I enjoyed
yeah,
it. I really like when you dive deeper into like knowing about the reshoots and knowing about all that, you can kind of see how they've kind of duct taped some of the story together and all that. But I did enjoy it. I had a good time. It just when Captain America, the trilogy or the franchise of Captain America is your gold standard, like they didn't live up to that gold standard of the franchise. This just kind of felt in the same road as like Ant-Man and the Wasp to me, where it was enjoyable, but
yeah.
I'm not going to go back and rewatch that one all that much. So
That's a
yeah,
great that is a great comparison. I could totally see that. You're 100% right.
yeah. Well, speaking of Marvel, because Captain America, is starting off their huge year of slate, we've got some reactions to their next upcoming project, which are a lot more people are looking forward to, Daredevil Born Again. But before we get there, we do have some people joining us in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Collective Movie Man sent in a 99-cent super chat. Dude, thank you so much for that support to the channel. It means a lot. He's also what did he go? He's also asking Zach. I wanted to ask when you're going back to your normal my Zach Milne Talks live show. I don't have any date to announce yet, so I don't want to talk. It's not canceled, like I said. It's just on the back burner as I'm figuring things out, navigating the world of parenthood with my wife for partnership. We talk about all this stuff together, so we're still talking about it. So there's no date to announce yet, but it's not canceled. So yeah, don't worry about that. We've got Laser Michael. The Laser looks like he's changed his name now. He's Laser Michael. What's going on, man? And he's back. Thank you so much for joining us, Laser Michael. Luke Ponto's in here. What's going on, Luke Ponto? He said, our Laser Michael says, proud of you for being a dad now, man. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. Our beloved channel member Ace is saying that Bradley was great in this, and I agree, he was. I just wish they gave him more. And yeah, Acres of Movies is in here. Thank you. So he's asking a casting question, but kind of distracting. We won't go into that just now. And Collective Movie Man saying congratulations on the baby. Thank you so much, dude. And Ace has now been a member for 13 months. So thank you so much, Ace. That means a lot, man. Thank you for all the support and love that you've given to the channel. All right. Speaking of love and support, there's a lot of love and support that we're hoping to give to Daredevil Born Again. And luckily, we've got some first reactions. I mean, this is coming out on Tuesday, so we're not too far away from seeing it for ourselves. But Variety here has collected some first reactions to Daredevil. And as someone who has recently gotten on the Daredevil train, just watched the Netflix series for the first time a couple weeks back, I'm very encouraged by these first reactions. This comes to us from Variety, saying Daredevil Born Again draws glowing first reactions, with some praising the opener as the best pilot of any MCU series thus far. The first two episodes of Marvel's Daredevil Born Again have been unveiled to members of the press, and the first reactions for the Disney Plus series are glowing. Screen Rant on camera reporter Liam Crowley praised the show on, I'm not calling it X, it's still Twitter, praised the show on Twitter, writing, Daredevil Born Again has the best pilot of any MCU series thus far, and it's not even close. Edge of your seat energy with audible gasps throughout. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio haven't lost a step. Benson and Moorhead bring the sauce. Above all else, it's episodic. We might be back. A little hesitant there about because we know Marvel has some great openers for their shows. Let's see how it ends. That's the bigger question.
Yeah, they have a hard time sticking that landing, man.
Yeah, although they've had a couple where they have managed to do it, so there is hope. Sean O'Connell, manager, editor of Cinema Blend, he agreed. He wrote, Holy Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil Born Again opens with a lengthy, devastating sequence that screams, this is just as brutal as Netflix. From there, the first two episodes lay out a layered story about cops, vigilantes, and guilt. Read Devil's Reign as a refresh, off to a great start. Eric Davis, manager of the director of Fandango, echoed. He wrote, the first two episodes are among the strongest starts for the Marvel Studios TV show to date. The first two episodes are terrific, setting up a story that is part court procedural and part all-out brawling. There's a fight in episode 1 that is all done in one shot with a wild ending, really kicks off the series in a memorable way. And then it just kind of goes on and on and on about all these reactions, which, you know, T, I don't know what your history is with Daredevil, but how has your anticipation for the show been up until this point? And hearing these reactions, how encouraged are you about the show?
So, I mean, of course I've been anticipating this ever since they announced it. It's Daredevil. Like, to say it's a pilot, I feel like that's unfair to say it's the greatest pilot. Like, it's a continuation of the
It's season
Netflix
4.
series. Yeah, the Netflix series is amazing. Like, it is the best superhero series that I think I've ever watched.
I can now say that I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
because
loved
it's
it.
not just one good season, right? A lot of superhero shows have one great season and then the rest of them kind of fall off. You got
Yeah.
the Arrow, you got Flash, you got Heroes, like all these different superhero themed shows. But Daredevil has been consistently great. Was season 2 as good as season 1? No, but at the same time, it wasn't bad. Like, it was still
I still enjoyed it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still great. Season 3 was phenomenal because they got back to what made the
So
first
good.
season great. And now here you have Disney, you have a bigger budget because all of Marvel series have looked fantastic. Like, you can't say that they've looked bad. So you have a bigger budget. It can be grander. It could look like Matt Murdock looked in No Way Home. So I mean, I feel like you can't miss if you have the same ingredients to make this show great again.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that the first season and the third season of Daredevil did really well on Netflix is it was a drama vigilante story that was grounded. Like, it didn't
Mhm.
feel like in season 2 of Daredevil, like the thing that didn't lose me but was definitely like, oh, this is a shift, is they, included Elektra, and they included more of the Hand, and it got a little
The
bit more
Hand,
mystical and
yeah.
supernatural, and it was a setup for Defenders ultimately. But they kind of went away from that core conflict that made the first season so gripping, was Wilson Fisk versus Daredevil and everyone else. And
Mhm.
Wilson Fisk kind of took a back seat in season 2, which then they brought him back into the front seat for season 3, and we got that conflict back again. So the fact that they have continued that with this season, they're bringing Vincent D'Onofrio back and Charlie Cox, and they are the front heads of the entire show, tells me that they're going to continue with that conflict, with that drama that I loved from the first season and third season. So that gets me really excited. Originally, I wasn't going to watch the Netflix Daredevil show because this was said to be like its own thing. They weren't bringing back
Mhm.
Karen, they weren't bringing back Foggy. And then, of course, they went back and retooled the whole thing. And so that's why I went and watched the Netflix show. And in the trailer, you see like Dex Poindexter in there. So, like, it's clearly a continuation of season 4. So that show, kind of like we were talking about with Captain America, it's such a high standard. It's the high regard of superhero shows is that Netflix Daredevil show. So this has to live up to that. Like it has to, especially with the climate and what's going on with the fandom of Marvel. Like you can't mess this one up. You really can't. Do you agree with me on that?
I do. I have a distinct take on this. Like I feel like
Share, please.
you have two products, right? Two products that should not miss: Captain America, Daredevil. I feel like they put a lot of love. I think they went and completely redid Daredevil because they knew that what they had after seeing She-Hulk. Thanks, She-Hulk. Because like if they didn't see that and they didn't see the backlash of him in the yellow suit on She-Hulk and being a comic guy and doing the the next day walk home. What is it? The walk of shame. There you go.
Walk of shame,
Like
yes.
I think we don't get what we have now because there was a huge backlash behind that. Hopefully, the fandom of Captain America, I hope they don't replace Anthony Mackie, but I hope that they demand that we do better for that character because they demanded we do better for Daredevil. And they did. They went back and maybe the budget has a lot to do with why they have a chance to go back and do a very grounded show with Daredevil. But I mean, it's this. I'm excited for Daredevil, and I don't want to take anything away from Daredevil, but I wish they would have put that same effort and passion into making Cap a little bit better. The writing too, because I like the writing of Daredevil has to be on point. And from the trailer, like the scene with him and Kingpin and Daredevil in the diner,
Yep.
that's just Vincent D'Onofrio is amazing. He's the greatest Marvel villain. I've debated this for you. No, he has it. He knows what to do as the Kingpin character, and their dynamic just makes it fantastic.
Yeah, no, it definitely where season 3 left off, and I like maybe I'm in the minority here. I'll ask you, do you think that this will be like a proper season 4 continuation of the Netflix show, or do you think that they're going to, maybe like loosely tie it to the rest of the 3 seasons, but kind of because at the end of season 3, for Wilson Fisk to now be mayor, that seems like that's a big jump from the city's rejected you, you're going to prison forever, that's the only way you'll keep Vanessa safe, to now he's mayor, and even how he appeared in Echo, like even that's a little bit the
Yeah.
continuity there. How I wonder how they're going to tie all that together.
I don't I did not see Echo. I think I might want to go check that out. I hated the Hawaiian suit in Hawkeye. That
Yeah.
was my biggest and yes, it's comic book accurate. I get it, but man, he just looks so goofy in that Hawaiian suit, the white suit and the Hawaiian shirt. Like, I don't know how he becomes. I don't care. No, I'll be totally honest.
Yeah.
Like how you tie it in is how you tie it in. I don't think it's going to be direct. Like I don't think it's going to be extreme with the Netflix tie-in, but I'm assuming they're going to give us like some type of synopsis on how he gets to where he gets, and I'll just accept it because I want to see. I want to see this story move forward and get to. I hope they don't fight at the end of the season. I hope like it just becomes like this just like they're just forever mortal enemies, but they don't
Yeah.
always it doesn't always have to end with a Daredevil just bashing his head in at the end of the season.
Well, you do risk it of getting repetitive in that way for sure. So you don't want to do that. But just to finish off this segment, was there anything in those reactions that you heard specifically that got you like really excited? Because for me, that one reaction that says there's one great long take in the first episode, because Daredevil is especially the Netflix series is known for its great long take. That one sequence in season 3 in the prison where it starts with him on the phone call with Wilson Fisk and then all the prisoners come out, and that goes on for like 15 minutes of just, I mean, I'm sure there's like sneaky cuts in there, but it feels like one long continuous take from inside the prison all the way out to when he gets outside the prison. It blew my mind. It was honestly really remarkable stuff. So the fact that they're carrying that over into this show, the long take fights, I'm so pumped to see what they've got in store for that. Is there anything specifically in these reactions that get you really excited? Oh, you're muted. Can't hear you.
There we go. These reactions, I always go back to the Flash is the greatest one. Like I take these reactions
Yeah.
for what they are. Everybody, when people get a chance, if I got a chance to see Daredevil earlier, I'll probably have the same reaction. Oh, this is the greatest thing ever, because I had that opportunity. So I don't really take what the I know it's going to be good. Like every part of me feels like this is going to be a just amazing series, not only for Daredevil but for Disney Plus. I think this is really going to help them out. It's going to help with the goodwill of Marvel. So yeah, I take what everyone said. Everyone kind of said the same thing. Like this is fantastic. The one take shot, like I remember season one, that hallway shot where he fought everyone
So
and
good.
that hooked me on the show. Honestly, that hallway shot of him just it was fantastic, and I think that in the right hands with a nicer budget, because Marvel is gonna put a lot of money into this, it's gonna look better, it's gonna feel better, and it's just gonna be a overall good time.
Yeah, you could definitely make the argument that that hallway fight in episode 2 of Daredevil is where the show found its DNA. 100%. Like
Mhm.
that was remarkable. Collective Movie Man, our buddy of Collective Movie Man, saying that he's heard the show is supposed to take place 5 years later after the third season of Daredevil. I don't remember hearing that, but I totally believe you. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it's been 6 years since the show was canceled, so I guess that kind of sticks in the in
Makes
the in the
sense.
timeline, right? So
Yeah.
that works. He also goes on to say, one of the things I've been thinking about is, are they going to use the original score from the original Netflix show? That's a fun question. Yes or no, T? Are they going to use the original score?
No.
No.
Marvel will have their own thing. Like Marvel will come up with their own thing to make it theirs.
I'm going to say yes.
Mm.
I think they use it. I think they'd be foolish not to. Honestly, like you could try to do something new with it, but it's, to me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And why upset the fans just to upset the fans? Like, if you don't have the original score, we're so fickle, we're so whiny that we're going to complain about it on the internet. We're going to make 15-minute long videos complaining about how the original score is not in the
I
show
don't even
anymore.
remember. I don't even remember the original score, like because I haven't watched Daredevil since it ended, so
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
fair. I'm not
But
a.
I think Marvel, like, who did the original score? Like,
Oh, I don't remember. I don't
yeah,
know.
it
I'm
doesn't.
I'm not a, I'm not a score person. I can't pick up on on
Yeah,
on musical tones like that. And also we got Dark Room Reviews. Joel is joining us in the chat. What's going on, man? Great to see you in here. All right. With that, let's oh, okay. Before we move on, actually, we've got our buddy Ace joining us. What's going on,
oh,
man?
So, what's up, guys? Sorry, man. I was live streaming and having FOMO at the same time. Like I'm listening to you guys, and I'm like, you know what? It's spring training. I got to end the game a little bit early. I was like, I got to hop on Zach's first day back, man. So I'm like, yo, I'm here.
Oh, dude, man, appreciate it. Always great to have you here, man.
nice.
And never apologize, man. You never have to apologize for being late or not being here. I always find it funny when people do that. But to get your reaction, man, these first reactions from Daredevil Born Again. I don't know if you heard the last segment at all, but have you been looking at the first reactions? Have you heard any first reactions? How you feeling about it?
I hear they're positive, which is a positive thing. Like I'm excited for it. The MCU series are either like they either been hit or misses to a lot of people's opinions, but Daredevil has been one of the Netflix series that a lot of people unanimously say is very good. I don't think
Mhm.
I've heard someone say that they didn't like the Netflix Daredevil series, but this is taking them, the fact that Disney's now evolved, taking it to the next level. I feel like the reviews are early positive. It's getting me excited for it. I can't wait to cover it. But they got some big shoes to fill, man, because the Netflix ones were good. So we're gonna see if Disney can hold their own when it comes to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on from this segment, Collective Movie Man's asking if we saw the trailer for Andor season 2. Have you guys checked out the Andor season 2 trailer?
Mm-mm.
I have. I've seen it. I saw it on the Spoiler Kings channel, and I mean, it looks like a Star Wars show.
Okay, it looks like a Star Wars show. I'll say this about the trailer. I liked everything that I saw in the trailer. It feels very much more like a Rogue One prequel than the first season of Andor, because they're like, we've got the Death Star, we've got Krennic back, we've got Saul back, I think was his name. So
Yeah.
it felt more like, okay, this is like they said this was gonna end tying into Rogue One, and they're definitely sticking to that. This looks more like a Rogue One prequel than the first season did. The music choice was a little annoying. I don't know why they went that like, I know everyone's talked about this. I'm not seeing anything new, but I'm serious. I was watching the trailer and I was just like, revolution, and I'm just like, oh, okay, the tone doesn't feel right for this song to be in this trailer.
So, oh man, I'm so glad you brought that up. You Star Wars, you spoiled Star Wars. So that song kind of felt Vietnamish to me. Like it felt, because like
Okay.
it's a revolution, right? They're the rebels. They're trying to. It's very fight the power in tone, like, and that's what they're doing. They're fighting the authority. Like, it's not a Star Wars song. Like, it's
No.
not. It doesn't come with the Imperial March. Like, that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants a John Williams score to accompany their thing. I thought that was funny. I saw all of the online discourse and the Star Wars fans. Y'all make me laugh. Like,
Yeah, it like it didn't make me mad or anything. Like, as soon as the trailer was over, I forgot about it. But in the middle of the trailer, I was thinking like, this is weird. This feels out of place. But whatever. I thought the trailer itself was pretty decent.
Is Andor
I think that was
worth
an
watching?
experience.
Because I haven't seen the first season. Is it worth watching?
I think it is. I really enjoyed Andor.
See, my thing is, I like my Star Wars with Jedi, and I know there's none in there, but I might have to give it a shot because everyone says it's the best one. What do you guys think?
I've not watched Andor.
I agree. The thing about Andor is it's the kind of interesting. It's a Star Wars show that feels the least amount of Star Wars, but gives you the most meat of Star Wars. Is almost like what I would say. Like yeah, you're in the galaxy, you see the TIE fighters and all that stuff, but yeah, there's no Jedi, there's no lightsabers, there's nothing that like is the iconic Star Wars imagery, but the story of it is just more grounded in the Star Wars universe that I found interesting. And Andor, the character, is actually not that interesting as a character. He just kind of is your vehicle that leads you through this galaxy and this story. So it's a slower burn. It doesn't move as fast as the other Star Wars shows, but the content within it I found really interesting and fascinating. And it gives you the deepest look into the politics of the Empire, of the rebellion. It's so detached from the fast-paced Star Wars content and shows that we usually get, but that's why I kind of love it. Like, it's just so uniquely different, and it's just fascinating to me. So it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because it is kind of far removed from what you kind of love about Star Wars, but not in the way that Rian Johnson did it in Last Jedi for me, where it felt like they just intentionally take everything that you like about Star Wars away from you for the sake of being subversive. It actually feels like it has a purpose and an interesting story to do so. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it, but I understand that not every Star Wars fan is going to like it.
What time frame is it taken? Like, where is it in between?
Isn't it before Empire? It's before New Hope.
I think it's 2 years before New Hope.
Yeah,
I think it's something like that.
So before Rogue One, then, because Rogue One goes into New Hope, then.
Yes,
so it's a prequel to Rogue One. Yeah.
Okay.
Season 2 of Andor is like each episode is going to be like 6 months has passed or something like that, and it leads up to, or there's a big time jump. I can't remember what it is, but
3 years.
Or every 3 episodes I think is a year or something like that.
Okay.
But it leads, like, it will end directly leading into Rogue One, which is kind of like, okay, so I mean, Andor's not going to die or anything. We kind of know exactly what's going to happen to these characters if you've seen Rogue One. So I'm a little interested to see how they're going to get around that. But I'm still looking forward to season 2 quite a bit.
I might have to check it out.
Yeah, I would
binge
recommend
both. I'm a binge both because Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. Like I just love that story. I love the Darth Vader scene, and I hated the way it ended because I didn't want everybody to die. But that's how it was supposed to be. But it was just good writing. It wasn't a bunch of, like, I know everybody comes to Star Wars to see lightsaber fights, but it had Donnie Yen. Come on, man. Like, Donnie Yen is a god. Yeah, like Donnie is the GOAT, like, or one of the GOATs. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out Andor season 2. I don't know why I've never seen season 1, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got two opinions right here. Our buddy Collective Movie Man saying, I absolutely love Andor. I think it's the best thing since Empire Strikes Back. Then our buddy Darkroom Reviews is saying, I only got 3 episodes in and called it quits. So
that's what it is. I'm telling you, like, you ask 2 people and you're always going to get 2 different answers. Like, some people love it, some people absolutely hate it.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll have to wait and find out. But one of the things that people absolutely love or absolutely hate, guys, Shrek 5. Shrek 5 made its return on the internet this weekend. It made its debut, and well, people are talking about it. So there's no story here. There's just images. So let's take a look at this. They put this casting announcement. Basically, this exists to surprise us that Zendaya is joining the cast.
Yep.
That's why they put this out. But yeah, just going through this little teaser real quickly. It starts off with what I hated. Just kind of acknowledging Shrek has become such a part of meme culture that they kind of just addressed it right here. I'm hoping this doesn't find its way into the movie. I'm confident it won't. But just in this little announcement, I was like, okay, yeah, they're addressing that. They are very much aware that Shrek has become a big meme, so they're doing that. Anyways, then we get our first look at our characters back, and that's kind of my reaction to it. It was just kind of like, It's a different animation style because I think it's more in line with kind of the Puss in Boots Last Wish a little bit more than it is the original films, which, so much time has passed, you're going to get animation upgrades and differences. Another thing that I've noticed is it does look like they're trying to age them a bit. Especially Donkey, which Donkey's the one where I look at and go, that's not Donkey. What are you talking about? But Ace, you had some opinions in the chat, so I want to get your opinions here. You look at this still frame of our Shrek characters coming back to the screen. What do you think of it? Is the internet crazy for being up in arms?
No, you know how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're very particular about our stuff, especially something so classic as Shrek. But how you feel about Donkey is kind of how I feel about Fiona. I looked at that like, who is that? Did he get a new wife? Because that doesn't look like the Fiona I know. And like I had said to T, you know what I'm saying, and like I had said in the comment section, I think because I was watching this video that was doing a side-by-side comparison of them both, I think it's the eyes. I think the eyes aren't big enough and wide enough that, like, especially on Shrek and Donkey, because they were a little bit more distance. And right. I think that's what it is. And then obviously the animation tries to go for a smoother look rather than what it used to. But that's just how, animation upgrades. Will it distract me? No. Like, I'll be watching it and initially I'll be like, okay. But I think, as we see more and, as the characters are moving, you know what I'm saying? Like, we won't pay too much attention to it. But like I said, Fiona, I'm kind of looking at it like, yo, who was it? And I actually thought that they might have recasted Cameron Diaz because I'm like, there's no way that's who it is. But my question is, my biggest gripe with this is, where are the other kids? Because I could have swore they had 3. Did they not have 3 children?
Yes, there's 2 boys, I think.
So did they eat them? Like,
they might be at college or something, man. They might be on there. They might be going on a journey or something. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
This movie was made. Well, no, they had 3 kids. I definitely remember they having 3 kids. But this movie was made for Zendaya, obviously. So, but it'll be good to have the cast back. This is a good series. I'll definitely have to go back and rewatch them all. But yeah, look at.
Obviously, this isn't like in her ogre stage, but I don't know. I just like, you look at Donkey and Shrek here, and then you look at them here. I mean, I prefer the other one. Like, there's something I can't tell if it's just you are right about the eyes though. The eyes are definitely closer together for Donkey in particular with this one. But I guess like his hair looks like he's also kind of like thinning out. Donkey's hair, like it looks like they're trying to make them look older. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, it looks like he's balding. It totally does. Like he's look at that. So yeah, I don't know. It's
if you fathered 12 dragon kids, you would be balding too.
It's so true. But T, what do you think? Do you think that there's anything to be concerned about here for when the movie comes out, or do you think that we'll get used to this?
We'll get used to it. Like, so Puss in Boots, the Last Wish was supposed to have, like, I've never completely seen that movie all the way through. I've fallen asleep when my kids watched it.
Oh, come
Not
on, dude, it's
because
great. The
no, not
Last
because
Wish.
it's a bad movie. Like, it's because it was dad was tired. Like
Fair.
dad needs a nap. So I just I mean, I knew when that movie hit that if Shrek came back, he was going to have a different animation style because everybody praised that so much. So once again, fandom, when you ask for things, when you would be careful for what you wish for, because when they come true, don't complain about it. Like they were going to bring a new animation style because everyone kept gushing over this Puss in Boots animation style. So they're gonna do what they have to do to make it look closer to that. And I'm assuming that's why they look so smooth and why they have a different animation style. I mean, at the end of the day, Shrek don't miss. Like Shrek Forever wasn't great, but I don't think it was a bad movie. Like I don't really remember much about it. Like that he had 3 kids. I don't remember that at all.
No, I just looked it up. He did. He does have 3 kids.
I mean, he could. The boys could just be off screen, or maybe they went to Ogre College or something. I don't know.
The boys are not Zendaya. Like, who cares? They only care about Zendaya. Zendaya is the hot name. Yeah. Unless they have like Timothy Chalamet voicing one of the sons, which would be great. I think that Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet voicing the 2 other sons. That would be fantastic. But it's Zendaya. Like, we might get another teaser with Timothy Chalamet. Like, who knows? Like,
But I'm excited that Mike Myers is back, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, all the cast is coming back, and get used to it. But to see it for the first time is just that's not how I remember that looking. So, but I'm sure Shrek 5 will be good. I mean, Shrek 3 missed a little bit for me. I don't hate Shrek 3, but it's definitely the weakest for me of the movies. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It doesn't take away from my excitement from Shrek 5. Does it take away your guys' excitement at all for Shrek 5?
No. Because like T said, it doesn't miss. You know what I'm saying? They've had solid movies across the board.
Yeah, I agree. Collective Movement says, yeah, Donkey definitely looks old. Yeah, I mean, like T was saying, how many Dragon Kids he's got? It's going to take a wear and tear on him.
Of them. Yeah, it weighs you down, man.
Oh man, they had their kids for food. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's
what Ace was saying. Let's see here. Sully Streams is joining us. What's going on, Sully? Hey, congrats on passing. Oh, what was it? 5,000 subscribers. I want to say is what you passed recently. I might be wrong about that, but congratulations on the milestone, man. Congratulations on that. Sully says, how did Zach Milne get his hands on a Zach Milne Talks Movies trucker hat? Timu.
Nice.
He's a dad now, so he's rocking the dad hat. You got to get
totally. Yeah. No, I literally was like, I'm gonna start just like rolling out of bed and doing these things. So I'm not gonna have time to like get my hair all ready and all that kind of stuff. Like right now, it's kind of crazy. Well, it's not too bad actually, but it's a little up there.
You gotta buzz it down, man.
You gotta. Yeah. Anyways, it's what it is. It's what it is. So I thought, you know what, it'd be cool to have a hat with my logo on it. So I went on Temu and was able to get one for actually like I got 2 for like $25. It was actually pretty good price. So maybe if they become a hot commodity, maybe I'll open up a store like they do on people do on their YouTube channels. I don't know. I looked into that a little bit last year. Yeah. Oh, Ace, you've got a store.
Spread Shop. Do Spread Shop.
Okay. Yeah. I've looked into it a little bit.
They have hats on there too.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I'll have to maybe look into that a little bit more if the interest
I'll get
raises
one.
A little
bit. Dope. It looks good on you too. It looks good.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Let's see here. Collective Movement says, I thought that was interesting with Shrek 5. I thought it was kind of funny with the different filters. Oh, the memes on the It was fine. It was totally fine for the announcement. I just don't want it in the movie. That's
creative
my thoughts
marketing.
on it.
I'm cool with that. Just give us some creative marketing like that. I feel like, like what Deadpool and Wolverine was kind of doing. You don't have to always give us scenes. Just give us some creative like marketing because we know we're gonna go to it anyway. Yeah. Oh
yeah, 100%. This movie's gonna. Do we think Shrek 5's gonna make? Well, obviously it depends on the quality of the film, but do we think it's $1 billion film? Do we think it can get up there?
What Shrek movies has any of them hit $1 billion?
I don't think so, but at the same time, they have grown in popularity so much in like generationally as well. Because the last one came out in what, 2011?
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is gonna hit $1 billion. Like, it depends on when it drops. Like,
Yeah.
lightning
So
can strike.
That's
does
true.
this count as a legacy sequel, considering?
I think so.
How long it's been?
An animation one, yeah. I would say so.
Shrek won just under 500 million.
Makes sense. That was the first one. It was what, 2001? When did that come out? 2000 something like that?
I think it was 2001 time frame.
Yeah, Shrek 2, 932 million.
That's close. And that's arguably the best one. That's my favorite one.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
One is good though. One is really good too.
Yeah.
Shrek 3 dipped with 808 million. And then last one is Shrek 4.
It sounds possible for sure at these numbers.
The lowest, 752 million. So Shrek 4 was the lowest one.
I'm going to say yes. I think it could easily get another 200, 300 million with how much it's built up since we last saw them. Also, Collective Movement, congratulations. You hit 100 subscribers on your channel, man. That's amazing. Congratulations on that, dude. All right. Before we get out of here, a question of if it's going to hit $1 billion or not for some people is the next Avengers film. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that because the Avengers films are huge mega blockbusters for the MCU, but at the same time, they haven't really done the greatest job building up to Doomsday. Well, a big question surrounding Doomsday is hey Marvel, who are the Avengers? And if you were hoping to get an answer from Marvel, they might not know either. This is a rumor, so it's not confirmed, but this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com, who are saying that Avengers Doomsday release could be delayed for a surprising reason. Avengers Doomsday begins shooting this April, but according to a new rumor, there's been some talk about delay in the movie that will see Robert Downey Jr. suit up as Dr. Doom. Marvel Studios plans to begin shooting Avengers Doomsday in April. The movie will then release next May, with Avengers Secret Wars set to follow 1 year later. As many of you have pointed out, it's an ambitious plan, but one that they made work with Infinity War and Endgame. Much has been said about Avengers Doomsday script not quite being where it needs to be. And on the hot mic, Jeff Snyder, who is a big scooper these days, he almost breaks every single story. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong. That's why we're looking at this, because he's had enough right predictions or right rumors that it's worth talking about. Jeff Snyder shared rumblings about a possible release date delay. He said, "I heard a rumor that Doomsday might push," he revealed. "I think that the release date could push to the next slot. They don't know who's in the movie." That's what I heard. They don't know who's in the movie that they're shooting next month. He goes on to say, "I heard we still don't know who's ultimately going to be in this movie and who's not. We don't know who's going to be available. I think they're still figuring out what that ensemble looks like." That would line up with Benedict Cumberbatch saying that he wasn't set to appear in Avengers Doomsday, only to confirm a few days later that Doctor Strange does in fact have a role in the movie. And T, you and I were on a show and we talked about that with Benedict Cumberbatch saying that, "Oh, I'm not in the next one. I'm in Secret Wars." And we were like, "Oh, that's totally fine. I mean, Doctor Strange doesn't need to be there. It makes more sense for him to pop up just in Secret Wars." And then a couple days after we had that discussion, it came out that he was like, "Oopsie, I am in the movie." I've been more optimistic on Avengers Doomsday than I think a lot of people have. I think the idea of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is really fascinating and great. I'm encouraged by the fact that the writers said we're not coming back until they landed on this idea, and it got them all excited. It seemed to me like it was creatively fueled for them as opposed to money fueled, which I know is naive of me to think, but that's how I felt with those comments. I'm just going to say it. But if you're shooting this movie, let's just, like, this, again, rumor, but let's just take it for what it is. If you're shooting this movie next month, it basically comes out in a year, and you're shooting Avengers and Secret Wars back to back, and you don't have locked down who's in the movie? That's really concerning to me. Like that is insane. How do you know if you're about to shoot in a month? Again, if this rumor is true, you don't have anyone locked down yet? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? First of all, I'll throw it to you first, T. Do you believe this rumor? That's what I'll say first and foremost is just, do you believe this rumor?
So I think there is some truth to it. What I think they mean is like extra characters. They have to mean extra characters because
Mhm.
if you're telling me you don't know who the Avengers are, then that means you don't have a script. Because if you don't have characters, how do you write a script?
Well,
Not
even in
knowing
that
who the
they said that
characters.
the script isn't quite where they want it to be. They said that as well in this rumor.
Oh, but you can have a plot, right? All right, I know I wanted to take place on Earth 616, but like if you don't have
Right.
characters to write dialogue for, then like that's not the script not being where it needs to be. That means the script is like 25% done or 40% done, whatever the case is. I think that they're talking about extras. I'm cautiously uh being optimistic here. I'm being naive, but I'm thinking they're talking about like Chris Evans popping back up as old man
Mhm.
Cap or Cap and who's doing his time heist stuff and he kind of just shows up or Doctor Strange because I don't in all honesty, I don't know who the hell the Avengers are going to be because I don't know who. Like, I know Thor is there. Hopefully, Captain Marvel's there. Hopefully, we still shoehorn her in there. We'll have a Cap and Falcon. They'll be part of it. Who else? Doctor Strange should be part of it, but he just because of his power set, it just I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess yeah, because Doctor Doom is technology and magic. So I mean, I don't
Spider-Man's
I
got to
have
be in
no
there too.
idea. Yeah, yeah, Spider-Man, yeah, for sure. Who I think should be the leader because I think
Yeah.
he's aged up to be in that leadership role. But I don't know. Like I'm really confused because I feel like we haven't built the equity to make an Avengers movie at this point because we've had a bunch of throwaway movies. The Eternals, are they gonna show up in this movie? Like, who knows? Like
Yeah.
it's so like the last few phases have just been a bunch of movies that they put out there and they haven't really the post-credit scenes haven't tied them together like phase 1, 2, and 3 did in order to get us to the big Avengers movies where everything tied into Ultron. Like we got a glimpse of Quicksilver and Wanda in the end of one of the movies.
Mhm.
So like we haven't assembled this team yet. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah. Well, no, Ace, go ahead.
my thoughts on that is like the Avengers in the comic books were a team, right? The MCU kind of uses them as just a way to bring all these characters together, and then they call them the Avengers.
Right.
So Fantastic Four is going to be a big part of it. So I think that they're just going to be gathering all these different characters and then just calling it an Avengers movie. Like they're all going to be coming together. But as far as this particular rumor, it's hard to say what's real and what's not because like today, like I got something sent to me from a decent source on Twitter that, like saying like the official concept, the first concept art's already coming out. So what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, have they not figured out what they're going to do? The concept arts are kind of out there, so we're kind of seeing a first look at certain things. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to tell what's real and what's not. So I kind of feel like we're just going to have to be a little bit patient. And then when we get some big news, like there are some sources that, you can trust, like comicbook.com is a good one. And then when they say if the movie gets pushed back, but if the movie gets pushed back due to, what they said, the next time slot, what would that even be? The following year? If it comes out in,
I think
the
think it's
summertime, is it
November.
pushed? That's what I was about to ask. The
November,
pushback to
yeah,
November.
November of that year.
So it's
November
going
of
to get
that
pushed
year.
back a couple months.
Yeah.
To me, as long as they get it right. But they have a bunch of characters they can use, and I saw you guys talking about Brave New World earlier. If you guys want their thoughts on that, make sure you rewind this stream here. I they're trying to assemble the Avengers. That's what they're trying to do. So there are going to be characters that are going to be coming back, like that they can just bring in together. And don't necessarily have to be on the Avengers team to actually be an Avengers movie. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I've always had the belief, like, I don't think it's that important to establish who the Avengers are before Avengers Doomsday. I think that you could just have Avengers Doomsday be, we don't have Avengers. Wow, there's a big new threat
Yeah.
coming. Now we have to be a new Avengers. Like you can assemble the Avengers in the Avengers movie. That's kind of what they did in the first Avengers. Like they set everyone up in the previous films, in their solo films, and then they were Avengers together in the Avengers movie. I don't have any problem with that. But like with this rumor, the biggest thing is just you're shooting it's next month. Like you need to be rolling next month. Like a lot of the stars in the MCU are big major stars. You got like, do you have them locked down? Like are they busy with other, like Tom Holland's a pretty busy guy. Like do you have him locked down? Or like of course it goes down to their contracts too. Like what contractually are they obligated to just come whenever you call them, whenever, or like are they on different sets? Are they shooting? Like you should have this figured out before you're about to shoot next month. That's where the rumor gets concerning for me. But I'll throw it as well to you guys. Do you believe that this will get delayed now? Because if this rumor is true, if they don't have it locked down and they want to shoot next month, and you're trying to do a year turnover for a big mega production like Avengers, and they do a lot of like previs stuff before they even start rolling the cameras, a lot of the visual effects, a lot of the CGI stuff, like you were talking about with the concept art, they give that to artists and they start working on it for the big CGI moments in the movie and stuff. But it's important to have a cast. It's really important to lock down your cast, and to do this big huge tentpole blockbuster in a year, and you haven't got it locked down of what your core idea is. I don't know. I'm saying it gets pushed. I think it gets pushed.
When did they start shooting Infinity War?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They shot Infinity War and Endgame back. Yeah, they took about 8 or 9 months. They took about 8 or 9 months.
And the Russos have the experience with it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like they're the two people that can rein in a bunch of people. And, you know, if you're talking about contractual stuff, some of them are still under contract. So they'll have to, you know, show up, and their other stuff is going to have to get pushed back. That's just how it is. But if I remember correctly, because didn't we have like Black Panther and then Infinity War started? Like I could have swore those were around the exact same time.
Yeah, Black Panther came first, but they were in the theater at the same time at one point. So it was the same year. But going to that point too, Marvel was a more well-oiled machine when Infinity War was coming out. Like they were boom, 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 boom. We know what we have next. We know what we're doing next. We know what we're doing next. Marvel's been in a state right now where it's like, we've got Kang Dynasty prepped to go. Oh, we lost Jonathan Majors. Okay, what do we do next? Oh, bring in Robert Downey Jr. Okay, now we have to, how does this tie? How does this fit? How does this tie? Like, I don't know. They're not in that cohesive of a place as they were with Infinity War, where I do think this is more of a challenge for them to do than Infinity War was, because they had a goal of Infinity War. They knew what they wanted to do, like from when they were doing Civil War. They're like, this is going to break up the Avengers. Yep. We're going to bring everybody into Infinity War, and because the Avengers are broken up, Thanos is going to win because we've set all this up. Where with Doomsday, it's just kind of like Plan B. So what do we do with it? That's kind of how that feels to me. Do you agree with that?
I do. I was wondering how they were going to tie everything to Kang. Like I was really confused. I've been confused for like the last 5 years since Endgame. Yeah, like it's been really confusing, because when they announced Kang, I was like, how do we even get there? Like I didn't understand it. But once again, I trust the process. Unfortunately, Philly, y'all shouldn't be trusting the process anymore. That was a low blow. I'm sorry for all the Philly fans out there. But I trust the process of Marvel, because they hadn't steered me wrong. Like I've said this before, I've never seen a bad Marvel movie. I don't think, like, I've never seen it. Everybody hates Love and Thunder. I get it, but I didn't think that.
I'm in the minority. I really enjoy Love and Thunder.
I did too. I did too. But Dark World. that wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great.
World.
Like it wasn't great.
We could go on.
Those weren't terrible movies, man. Like to me, once again, I'm a unique person where I don't go into Marvel movies like nitpicking them to death. I just think they're okay.
I thought Eternals was okay.
See, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
All subjective.
Yeah.
But I'm trusting the process. I think Doomsday, not because of Robert Downey Jr. That's the narrative I hate, that he's going to be the savior. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think him being in it makes the movie better than it would have been if they would have gotten Mads Mikkelsen or something like that to play Doctor Doom, who I thought would have been a fantastic Doctor Doom. He's just not box office like RDJ.
Yeah. Here's my thoughts on this, right? All right, so they're shooting both back to back. Secret Wars is probably going to be like the end game, where it's like that's going to be the grander one. So Doomsday, in my opinion, much like Infinity War, is probably going to set up that finale. So who's to say that we need everybody in Doomsday? What if it's just we got RDJ already? What if it's RDJ wreaking havoc? You know what I'm saying? Initially, and then keep in mind they can shoot that in a year and then buy more time for actual Secret Wars to be shooting at the exact same time, because they'll be shooting both, but then that comes out later. So I feel like they can do both, maybe without delays. If it gets delayed a couple of months, you know what I'm saying, it's not the end of the world, but I'm looking at this as more of a setup for Secret Wars. So you can do that, like, because Thanos wreaked havoc in Infinity War, and that was pretty much the entire movie. You know what I'm saying? These guys weren't all together at the same time until Endgame. So maybe they're duplicating that success.
So
possible.
I would say, because that's when we were talking about the Doctor Strange thing. I was like, I didn't think everybody was going to be in in Doomsday,
and not everyone,
because everybody's going to everybody's going to be in Secret Wars, like, which was funny because everybody was in Infinity War, but then everybody wasn't in Endgame, because Endgame was like, that was supposed to be the core. That was the core coming back to give their finale, like for them to have that grand finale, which was the brilliance of Endgame. But everybody doesn't have to be in Doomsday. But I think Secret Wars, they're really going to be throwing everybody at you. Like Secret Wars is Battle World. Everybody's like, it's going to be shenanigans, and I'm here for it. I think Secret Wars is going to be fun. I don't think it's going to be as emotionally impactful as Endgame, but I don't think anything is ever going to be like, I think that was peak, as the young kids say today. That was the peak of anything you could do, to me, emotionally, at least, because I grew up with those characters and watching old man Cap sit there. Oh man, it's such a great movie. Such a great movie. But
it
Secret
really
Wars
is
is going to be fun.
So we'll end with this. Just the context of this rumor. Again, could be real, could be false. We don't know. Let's just take it as it's real for now. Like, let's just take it as Marvel is about to shoot the movie next month. They haven't locked down all the characters. They don't know exactly who's going to be in it. Does this make you more concerned, less concerned, or neutral, the same for Doomsday? Because I'll start. I'm more concerned. I've been pretty optimistic about this for a while. Even like when they bring out things like, oh, the original writers are coming back because they thought they had a great idea, I take it at the word. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like, I'm not gonna think it's cynical. They don't need money. They just want to be there. They're just creative people. But this is something where I'm like, are they having communication problems? Have they talked to everybody they need to talk to? Like, they're also in a place, Marvel's in a place where they can't afford to just kind of haphazardly put together an Avengers movie. Like the Avengers, it's kind of like, again, what we were talking about with Captain America. Captain America movies are the pinnacle of the solo franchises. That's the best trilogy. It's the best movie franchise aside from the Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I don't feel like they lived up to that or gave that much enough credibility to that when they were putting together Brave New World. I just didn't think Brave New World fit with the rest of the Captain America franchise in terms of the excellence. In similar vein, Avengers, that is like your mega events. Everyone comes out to the Avengers films because they are the can't miss moment of the entire movie year. You can't just throw an Avengers movies together. Like, it's got to live up to that. As unfair as it might sound, it has to live up to that hype. And this is something that it does make me a little bit more concerned about this Avengers movie going forward. Ace, what about you? More concerned, less concerned, or neutral?
Still the same. Because I trust the Russo brothers at the end of the day. I know that they're not coming back for no BS. They've proven it before. You know what I'm saying? They're responsible for 4 out of the top 5 movies on my list. And I don't think they're coming back for no games. I think they're coming back, to kind of bring Marvel back And like I said, I'm not concerned because they've already built equity with me. So until I see it fail, I'm just going to go and think that it's going to be a good thing. So that, and I also think Robert Downey Jr. is not coming back to tarnish his own legacy that he's built with Iron Man. So I think they're going to get it right. Like, it's going to have to be quick. It's going to have to be done quick. They're going to have to spend a lot of money to get it done. But ultimately, I think they'll do it justice.
All right, T, how about you? More, less, the same?
I think I'm less cautious now. I think if you take more time, as we've seen with Daredevil, they haven't shot it. If they said they're doing reshoots, then I'd be like, oh man, what's going on? But they haven't really began. If you're gonna take your time and make sure that it's right, and make sure you lock down the right people, because everybody doesn't have to be in Doomsday. Everybody's going to be in Secret Wars, so you have to lock everything down perfectly, and people's contracts are people's contract. A lot of the people that they're probably going to get, we might see the Calverine in there. Who knows if he's shooting who knows if he's shooting a Warhammer, whatever, during that time. So locking down the right people to make sure we get the right visual, the right people where they need to be. If we're going to do a reboot, if we're throwing in some mutants in there, some mutant cameos or something, get it right. Take your time. Like, we'll still be here. Like, I want it to come out next May or April? Yes, but if it comes out next November, Thanksgiving, come early. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just take your time, get it right. If you need to delay it to whatever 2027, whatever you need to do,
I like just
get it right.
Yeah. I want to see
next year. I want
I want to see these movies, but I want them to be good more than I want to just see them. Like that's how I feel about it. But obviously, I'll be bummed if it gets pushed to 2026.
If we get Secret Wars before we get Spider-Verse Part 2, I'm gonna be really upset.
We are.
What the heck's going on with that, man? And that's a whole other conversation.
I'm sorry.
No,
I will say,
just get it right. Just if you gotta push it, like I complained that you push it back a year, but it'll be here before you know it. Just get it right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters. Do it justice, and but you also have to think the actors aren't getting any younger either. So you kind of gotta take that in consideration. But just get it right.
Very true. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Members Talk Live. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being here and joining me as always. Tell people where they can find you. We'll start with you, Ace, since we missed your card at the beginning of the show.
You can find me at the Ace Avenue, DAACE Avenue, for your sports, movies, and more. Been pushing out a lot more movie content this year in 2025. The goal is to review at least 25 new movies in the year 2025. 2 down, 23 to go. And we are on the road to 2K.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, these cards are not updated at all. You're way beyond where you were at when I took that snapshot. But T, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at the Have You Seen That with T YouTube channel, and this is breaking news.
Ooh.
This Wednesday. Oh man, my screen just froze.
We see you
this Wednesday. The Island of Relevancy podcast. Myself and Frank, we're starting a new wrestling podcast. It's called Island of Relevancy. I'm gonna have to say that about 50 times over and over. But yeah, we're starting that podcast. If you're a wrestling fan, we're every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Mountain time, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll be giving you an hour of our wrestling ideas, our wrestling opinions and stuff like that. So we're really excited about that Wednesday. I haven't done the YouTube channel or anything like that yet, but we're getting that ready for Wednesday night. And yeah, that's where.
So is that going to be on your channel or a new channel?
It's going to be a new channel.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man. That's exciting.
Welcome to the world of sports, T. So
it's going to be fun. That's
awesome, dude. And thank you guys for being here. We got Nathan's Random Movies, Collective Movie Man, Sully Streams, Darkroom Reviews, Days Avenue, Acres of Movies, Laser Michael, and Luke Ponto. Thank you guys so much for being here and joining us. I'm Zach. You can find me right here on this channel. Tuesday, I've got a whole bunch of pre-recorded videos that are still yet to come out. So I ranked all 4 Fantastic Four movies. That comes out on Tuesday. Keep your eye out for that. And yeah, if you want to join us on Members Talk Live, you can get all the information down in the description below. We'd love to have you join the show. Must be 18 years or older. As always, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care. Always that long hold.